we'll see how to book a slot for the IELTS computer delivered test online. Now, this is not as difficult as some people may think it is, and I believe each of us is capable of doing this on our own. Many a times I've seen people going to their agents and their tuition classes or some other teachers to help them in filling up this form. It is not that difficult, but I would say that one needs to be extremely cautious while filling this form, because I myself almost made a mistake when I was filling it on my own, and that mistake would have cost me the whole application fees, and I would have to take the IELTS once again. So I would say that you please pay attention to everything that I say during the video, and every step. You also are requested to read every field wherein you put in the data, and I would also say that it does not mean that I'm saying that you should not ask for help from your teachers or your coaching class. It is just that certain things are possible to be done on our own, and for that we need not go to somebody else for help. So for the purpose of this video, I'm taking the website of IDP, and it however does not mean that I am proposing that IDP is better or British Council is better. I have seen people arguing about this, but I personally don't feel that there's any difference between the two. I'm once again clarifying that in this video we will be discussing how to book a slot for the computer delivered IELTS at the IDP test centers. Alright, so this is the home page where you can just start booking your slot, and the first step is selecting the appropriate test. The first one is the computer delivered IELTS, the second one is the conventional pen paper based IELTS. Now these two IELTS are for the people who are going to countries other than United Kingdom, and these two are for the ones who wish to go to the United Kingdom. Here life skills is not for us, and neither is UKVI. For now we are just doing the computer delivered IELTS from here. So the next step is selecting whether you want to go for the academic module or the general training module. So for the purpose of demonstration we'll go ahead with the academic module. I'll go with Mumbai, and now we just say view test dates. So here if you see, this is the added advantage that the online computer based test has over the conventional pen paper based test. There are almost slots available on every day of this month except a few. So the frequency of tests is higher in this online test, computer based tests. So I'll go ahead with the 6th of March, and if you see, even in one day you've got 3 different slots and you can choose a slot that suits to your liking. When I was booking my slot, I selected a day where I knew that I would not be busy at any given time, and then I selected the 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. slot because I was too lazy to wake up early in the morning and reach on time. So I selected the 1 p.m. slot. And now you verify the details once again, and I suggest you keep doing this at every step. So first you'll see whether you want the computer delivered IELTS, then you'll see whether you've selected the correct module, which is academic or general training. Then you select your city and you just verify it before going to the next step. Then you should check your date and month once again, and the day, and then finally the time slot. And after this, you should just take a minute to think about whether you've got some big commitments around the date, because once you pay the fees and then you go for a rescheduling, you might have to pay rescheduling charges. So be careful. Now, alright, so in this step, before we begin with the 7 steps, I would say that in case you have got your ad blocks turned on, you please turn off your ad blocks, because I had to keep refilling my application form 3 or 4 times before I realized that my ad blocker was uh, acting funny when I was booking this. So be careful about your ad blocks. And you can read the IELTS terms and conditions and privacy policy. So now we have reached the second step where it collects our details. So we start filling in the details, and then we fill up the mobile number, and then this is the passport. Now when you select passport, there's no other option, so you just have to give your passport, and then you have to give your passport number. Now the passport number is available, of course, on your passport, and you must be 100% sure while filling in the passport number. There must not be any mistake, so you verify it once or twice. This is the validity of your passport. Even this information is available on your passport. So the next is your birth date. Now this says if you have got a permanent disability. In case you say yes, you must specify any requirements that you need. You say proceed. So the next step is confirming certain details and adding the new asked details. So here I am confirming the email. Make sure that you don't make any mistakes, or it will just result in the delaying of your completion. So now I am putting in the email, and I am now putting in back the mobile number that I earlier put in. So this is asking for my address, and I can just go ahead with random stuff right now. Now, please make sure that this address is accurate when you're doing it, because this is the address where you will receive your IELTS result, which is the TRF, and the test report form. The TRF will be sent only once and not again. So please be careful, because it's an important document that will help you in securing your admission or your employment if it's a general training TRF. So now don't worry, when you go to the test center, they'll once again verify the address, and in case you want to make any changes, you can just make it out there. But for precautionary measures, please put in the correct address right here. This is your address, postal code. So this is your first language. So if your first language is Punjabi, you can put in Punjabi. If it's Gujarati, if it's Hindi, or whatever. So here is the occupation. Here you should say education, and if it's some other, you can just say student. Occupation is student. And why are you taking the IELTS? Now you can read all these and select the appropriate course or appropriate reason. And for higher education, extended course, 3 months or more. Which country are you intending to go? And I'll select Canada, and or New Zealand, or you can read all these, and if there's some other, then you can just specify it right there. These mandatory fields need to be: what level of education have you completed? If you are an ongoing student, then you have just completed your secondary course, and since I'm in a 5-year law course, I've just finished my secondary, and I have not finished my degree. So if you're doing a master's course, or if you have finished a 3 years bachelor's, you can go ahead with saying degree or equivalent, and you can select the number of years that you've been studying English for, and you can go ahead in the menu. Now for the fourth step, you have to upload the first and the last pages of your passport. This can also be uploaded later on once you receive the login ID and password, but I would just say that for safety measures, you should just upload it right here, and it's not a problem if you upload it even later on, but then you must not forget to upload it because it's necessary. So right now I'll just say skip. Now in this step, they'll ask you if you wish them to send your IELTS result to any organization, and if it applies to you, you can go ahead and select, or else you can just say skip. Now in this sixth step, it's a review step, so you can just go through all the details that you've entered earlier. Now remember I said that I made a mistake in my application which would have cost me a lot, and I would have to take the IELTS once again, and that mistake is right here. My first name and my last name. Now you must always be careful that this name must match with the name on your passport. So you can't just write your first name and last name. It's also written given names. So if you check your passport closely, it will say first name, I mean the given name, and the last name or surname. So some people just have their first name, but some people also have the name of their fathers along with their names. So it is very necessary to write the name of your father, and you should write the name as it is on your passport. So for example, if somebody's name on the passport goes like Ramesh Suresh Prajapati, so you must write Ramesh Suresh in the first name and your surname later on. You can't just write Ramesh and Prajapati. So be careful, and if it does not match with your passport, you might have to pay a heavy price for it. So, and I would also say that you be very specific about your address, because your TRF is a really important document and you cannot afford to misplace it. Now you can print this for your own use later on, and then now we go to the final step, which is proceed to pay. And here if you see, there are various other payment methods that you can select as per your convenience, and here is your fees, which is 13,250 rupees, and there is an additional 150 service charge in case of an online payment through MasterCard or Visa card, credit or debit cards, irrespective of that. So you can just go on to the payment, and from here I'm sure all of you must have done online payments, so we can say that we have done the whole application right here, and now only the last step remains, which is to process your payment. Okay, so I hope this video helped you. Thank you so much.